welcome to Designers Brew with Vratika. I'm Vratika, founder and CEO, Mesosia, and we have Rajat and Shilpa with us today from Design Box. We are reeling in for some really fun conversation with them. Looking forward to what's in store in their story for us all to learn and take away from. Okay, guys, we're calling this episode as Building Dreams Together, since you both have been. I mean, we're just chatting, and what I understand, you've been together for about 9 years in this practice, and been married for 12. I think I'd love to know what you do at Design Box and what makes you being so passionate about it, and what makes you go for it.
So the Design Box was founded in 2012. Rajat was already working with someone then. I started this firm, and I mean, he's here, but I could have only done it with his help. There are very few firms which are women-led, and the partner joins in later.
Yeah, that's
So generally, the system is that it's generally the guy who starts the firm, or it's under his name.
Yeah.
And so he encouraged me to start the firm. He was very happy with where he was working and his job. He was the youngest associate in that firm, so he's doing very well for himself. And he's like, you know what, you start on your own. But we started it together on paper. 3 years later, I got pregnant with my daughter, and around 7th or 8th month, that advanced stage of pregnancy, I realized that I started saying no for work, no for good work, and then I questioned myself, what's the point in setting up a firm if I have to eventually shut it? I need some support. That's when I literally forced him, just quit your job, you need to change your boss, come over.
She's being very modest when she says that it was the 7th month when she realized that I need to join. She was working, I think, a day prior to the delivery.
Wow.
She drove to a site, I think it was a site in Thane, where she had to climb 10 floors.
Oh my God.
Because
12
floors, because the lobby which we were doing, so it was a township. So the particular lobby that we were doing that day, she had to climb 12 floors with that belly.
My God.
And she drove to Thane, drove back, and apparently in the evening she even drove us to a restaurant.
Wow.
So while coming back, she realized, okay, now things are about to get serious.
I thought it's bad food from restaurant.
So that is the day when we actually had the talk that I think you need to
make a shift.
Because we are about to say no to a lot of
and choose
clients.
the best boss in the world, boss at home, boss at work.
So it's not she's not just joking that we fondly, everybody in my office call her the boss.
Oh,
and
that's
whenever
amazing.
she enters, the boss is here. That's the vibe. But
that's so nice. Wow, it's amazing to learn. But like, how are your individual design styles, and how do you kind of bring them together and create something? Or you guys usually have projects where, say, you have a contemporary style or you have a classical style. How does it work?
I think you identified that by looking at us.
No.
I think we give out that vibe.
Yeah, maybe, because that's exactly what we do.
Wow.
If I talk about his style, it's very minimalistic, contemporary, straight lines, simple. He works a lot on materials and textures. You would want to talk about my design style.
So she is more on the maximalistic approach to design. She loves using bold colors and vibrancy into the design. And so together, when how we particularly approach any project is, I kind of do the initial framework, the designing, everything, and she comes and brings a flair to the site.
She kind of
she'll throw colors into my site, and at the end of it, it's a very, very beautiful, harmonious composition that comes to life once we hand over the project.
Isn't that brilliant? And I think it's true for life and it's true for work for both of you, right? Like, you bring that to each other. That's amazing. And what is one of your favorite projects? Like, maybe one for you and one for you, which you think was really interesting, and why? I mean, of course, all projects are interesting. That's there. But was there any project which you thought was one up? For both of you or for each one of you? Different.
So this one particular project, we just finished the site last year around Diwali. Again, that project, it was a residential project that involved a couple and us, but I think that is one of the projects we had the most fun working on. The clients knew us, they knew what our strengths are and where are we weak in terms of, say, selections or execution, and they were yin and yang, we were yin and yang, and I think that just worked for us. So we had this amazing how do I say, a chemistry with them, an equation with them, and I always feel, and I think you will also agree, that we are always here to give the best, but it is the client eventually that is responsible.
Do they want it?
Yeah.
I agree. But was it like, do we understand that it's more about the person on the other side as well than just the theme or the type or the kind or the scale of the project?
Yeah.
It's how much the person on the other side is wanting to give into the project, right?
The more flexibility and freedom we get as designers, I don't think any designer would want to create bad designs.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
So,
we are designers by choice.
Yeah.
By
So
passion.
I think if we get freedom, we can make the most of it. I mean, we can actually give a really good output.
Lovely, yeah.
So-
I'd love to see some
So
snippets of this
basically-
project and also
yeah,
probably
yeah.
make them a part of the.
So,
of the
so
episode,
basically,
yeah.
what she's trying to say is this particular project. How we generally work is we sit with the client for a good couple of weeks and understand what their personality is,
What they are like.
what
yeah.
their way of living is, what their
Yeah.
lifestyle is, what kind of design language they like,
Yeah.
and then from there onwards we take it forward. So
Good.
this particular site we have experimented with everything.
Yeah.
Like using
Wow.
carpets on ceiling, using
Oh,
products
that's
that are used for
amazing.
external cladding inside the house.
Yeah.
So anything that is the norm, we have tried to
Yeah.
Change it.
change it or
Yeah,
flip
so
it.
if you'll ask me, Shilpa, where's the carpet? I said it's on the ceiling. You'll be like, where's the wall covering? Oh, it's in the wardrobe.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what are you doing outside? I said, forget outside. We picked that outdoor material, we put it inside.
Yeah.
We've used materials in a very unconventional way.
Yeah.
And it is all the credit goes to the client because he was open to everything that we propose. Otherwise, it takes a lot of
So
convincing.
he was like, surprise me,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
do it, yeah.
They were very
That's
supportive.
amazing. That's amazing. And has there been a challenging project for you where you thought, you know, there's smoke coming out of everywhere and you know things are just.
So
and
there was this one particular project that we did in Jodhpur. So the client was very sure that he wanted an architect from Bombay because he didn't want a typical Jodhpuri house.
Yeah,
If you see the
of
Jodhpur
course,
architecture, it's filled of that local stone. It's clad with that stone,
Yeah.
and every house looks as
The
similar to
same.
the next one.
yeah.
But he was very clear. So
Yeah.
he had I think ground floor house.
Mhm.
It was a typical Jodhpuri house, and the design brief was very complicated. He wanted to retain the structure,
Wow.
but completely change the appearance of the house.
Hmm.
So we had to tear down all the external walls, yet retain the structure. Now the structure was not a typical, concrete shell and core structure. It
Hmm.
was stone structure,
Wow.
where
There's
half
no
of the
bed.
slabs were actually stone slabs laid on the beams. So it was a
Wow.
very, very complex thing. So we tore down the entire external facade, rebuilt the new facade, converted into a G+2
Wow.
villa
Hmm.
with absolutely modern design. Now if somebody enters into the lane, good 500 meters down the lane, they are able to see the house because it's completely different from the demographic.
That's amazing. And is it sometimes challenging to say no to a client or kind of?
Have
Yeah.
you worked with friends and family?
I think the toughest clients
Yeah,
you get, right?
yeah.
You cannot say no to them.
Yeah, yeah. They
But you
need
can't
to-
say no to family.
You
That's
cannot.
the problem.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to. So you are in a very, very sticky situation.
And you have to go that way.
Uh,
And in what ways do you leverage each other's strength to enhance the overall quality of the design and the spaces that you create?
So over the period of years, we've realized each other's strengths, and we keep telling each other that instead of focusing on our weaknesses,
Yeah.
let's elevate our strengths. Because
That's beautiful.
my weakness is his strength and his weakness is my strength.
Yeah.
We're completely opposite.
Yeah.
So
I got that in your yin and yang.
he's
Yeah.
he's very quick in execution in terms of decision making. I take my time.
You're thorough.
Yes.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when times when we are running against a deadline, we have to meet a
Yeah,
deadline, running
yeah.
against time. That's when I kind of
Yeah.
rely on him to
You know,
handle
Rajat,
things.
on you come, I'm stepping out like
I'm
that.
like,
Is
yes,
it like
boss.
that? Yeah.
And then certain aspects, especially where a lot of patience is involved in terms of selections, that's where I step in. because I understand that it takes time.
Yeah.
He hates selecting curtains.
Yeah.
I can't do
Just
that.
beyond me.
I can totally.
Fabrics
Yeah.
and curtains are beyond
Yeah.
me. I just cannot
Yeah,
get
and
the hang of
also
it.
when you know that you have a partner
Yeah.
who is so superbly patient or excellent at that, you're like, might as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you work on each other's best.
So in this particular case, although she said it in a very, very nice and articulate way, the fact of the matter is it took us good 3 years to understand that we are equally bullheaded and equally strong-headed.
It's like
The
having
first-
two alphas.
Yeah,
In
it's
the
like to
same
have an alpha. So
organization.
it took us good 2.5, 3 years to understand that we cannot both drive the car at the same time.
Yeah.
So one of us has to drive and other has to navigate.
Yeah.
That is the only way we can reach our destination. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work.
Absolutely. So no backseat driving in any
No.
case. And do you think it really happens? Like, are you able to do it? Like, how hard it is to kind of
Oh, initially,
do it?
I'm
Like,
telling you, we were at the verge of killing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, we've survived that.
you
we
can
have-
survive anything.
The most difficult phase
Yeah.
of our firm as well as our relation was to survive those initial
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Because it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Because she is equally strong. She has a very different and strong style of design,
Yeah.
and she does not let it go. And
Yeah.
same with me. I have a very completely different style of design
And
because-
way of working.
And way of working. My way of working is very organic,
Yeah.
and I just take things on the go, and I would like to get on
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
She would put everything on paper first, see everything works, and then she would go on the site. So it's two completely different way of working, and for the
Yeah.
first 3 years we collided because
Yeah.
at that time we used to do sites together. Then after 3 years we first sat down in a cafe and then
Strategize. and
strategize.
build.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is not going to
Yeah.
work. If
Yeah.
we want to grow, we'll have to
Yeah.
figure out a way.
Yeah.
And then eventually we started this format where whenever we meet a new client, we sit with them for 2 or 3 sessions. We go out with them for a lunch, dinner. We go out with them for a coffee. We just try and understand.
Yeah, get into the
what-
psyche.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So once we understand what their personality is, what kind of house they want or what kind of office they're looking at, then we decide which one of us is more suited to
To maneuver this
to
project.
maneuver
Yeah.
this project
Yeah.
or to
Yeah.
help them achieve their dream.
Yeah.
And then that's how we started taking all the projects. So every project we first go together, and then
Yeah.
one of us will take a backseat and the other one drives.
That's very nice. I think that's very interesting. The client is everything because it's their house.
For
Yes.
sure.
If they are invested, and we get to maybe understand what they dream of while they're sleeping and what they want when they're awake, then you're probably in the right direction. What is one lesson for each one of you, or a mantra for both of you of life? I mean, be it be working together or be it in general. Like, what's one thing you live by?
I believe in go with the flow. I'm a person who's very impulsive. My reactions are impulsive, my choices are impulsive, and rather than seeing it as my weakness, I've actually made sure that it becomes my strength.
That's beautiful.
That's
Amazing. Yeah, that's a big win, I say.
Yeah.
I think people do a lot of vipassana and all of that to kind of come to terms to embracing and accepting your strongest suits and not being seen as a strength. I think you're like probably just maybe the third person I've met who's got that thing in you. I mean, embraced. So beautiful.
It's scary sometimes.
For you, for sure.
in a nicer way,
Yeah,
right?
obviously in a nicer way. Yeah.
For you, I can totally tell. Must be. It could go either way. What about you, Rajat?
So for me, the mantra that I have finally decided on that works best for me is that whatever I create design-wise, at the end of the handover or the completion of that particular project, that design should be something which is unique. That design should be something which I'm satisfied with. That design is something which I'm proud to show to people.
Yeah.
That, see, this is what I've created.
Yeah.
Why don't you come and see? And at the end of it all, the client needs to be happy about it, and it should be practical enough for them to use.
Yeah.
So that is something that I live by.
So usable and fantastic,
Yes.
fabulous. Yeah. Love.
Minus curtains.
Minus coding. What is one thing one thing in, I mean, I'm sure there's so many elements of design, essentially the 7 mantras or the basics we design the space on. What is one thing that you think plays the most important role in a project or in a design for you?
For me, for me, it is geometry and lines. I hate it when I
love
go
that
to my
actually.
site.
I love that feel. I mean,
and-
like that.
Yeah, you get it, right? If
I
the
totally-
lines don't
yeah.
match,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just, I just flip.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, that is one thing has to be perfect.
Yeah.
That lines have to meet, geometries
Yeah.
have to be in congruence with each other. Otherwise, things just don't come together.
Don't come together, yeah. And no matter how beautiful and how much you stud it with, it will still be like that one off.
And since we do this day in day out,
yeah, you would see it a lot more.
exactly. No matter how beautiful
Yeah,
the site has
yeah.
come up, but
Yeah.
if you enter and if you see two lines,
Yeah.
they are not in line.
Yeah.
Even if they are half an inch apart, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, no, it's not working.
Yeah. And are you like sometimes visually matching the incorrectness of things?
Yeah.
Because of OCD, you're like,
Yes,
oh, this
yes,
should
yes.
be ahead.
That's the worst thing with us.
Yeah,
Whenever we go
yeah.
to a restaurant or a cafe, that's all we see.
It's sad, no?
Yeah.
You can't even
Yeah,
enjoy
you can't-
it.
it's like a designer's curse.
So they say that power comes with great responsibility,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's the responsibility part, which we sometimes feel for things we've not
Yeah.
even created,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it just probably becomes
Yeah, we
nature.
probably need to, you need to start a switch off button where
Yeah.
we can just switch it off and just enjoy the moment
I agree.
without
I
looking
agree.
at
I
things.
think really needed, and I think a lot for people in design and architecture because you're constantly surrounded with
Yeah.
design. I think design is what we live the most,
Correct.
and if you can probably find a balance there. But if it was not for designers, world would not be such a beautiful
Exactly.
place.
We are the power of creation.
Yeah. How about you, Shilpa?
No, I'm so lost in thinking about the sites where we've seen those misalignments that I forgot the question. I don't like an empty canvas. For example, I cannot see a wall empty.
Yeah.
If the sites that I have personally done, there'll be always some drama happening on the wall.
On the wall.
Yeah.
What is the beauty or what is the add-on for you when it comes to accessorizing a house? And what matters? How should you accessorize a house in the right way or style the house once the house is ready?
I don't like to go overboard with things. Just
Yeah.
don't clutter the house with a lot of pieces. You just need to have one piece,
Yeah.
which is actually accentuating the entire space rather
Yeah.
than just cluttering the entire house with unwanted home decor and unwanted artifacts that eventually are going to break.
Yeah.
Because-
Or I'm gonna add a lot of noise.
Yeah. And no IKEA.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
You said that.
So my client, she bought certain
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and she's like, you know what?
Just put it somewhere.
I just added these things. I'm like, those elephants, they're from IKEA. That sub drawer mein dalo. But I mean, you've
Yeah.
spent so much, created
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
luxurious vibe, and then, no offense, they have good stuff,
Yeah.
but you're killing that vibe
Yeah.
of
Because
the
it's not
house.
fitting in. It's
Exactly.
just about not having the right ring size for the hand.
Correct.
Yeah. You need to have a luxurious product for a luxurious space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then they're like, oh, but I want to go and I want to buy this. I say, you don't want to buy kitchen products because you'll hide
Yeah.
them.
I know, that's
They go
better.
in the drawer.
You're never gonna see them.
So buy kitchen products if you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Perfect. I think that's all for me, and I think thank you so much for being here with us, and I truly enjoyed your partnership, knowing about it, and this conversation.
Thank you.
Absolute
guys.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.